So for those reasons, it became evident to the banking community that in order for banks, these fractional reserve banks to survive, you have to have a central bank, a lender of last resort, as it's called, which will have the resources to bail them out in the case of trouble, and also will be able to centralize reserves so that all banks will more or less expand reserves together. So you don't have a problem with one bank expanding and suddenly being caught up short by the sounder and more conservative banks. All banks will expand through a central banking system. Central bank buying assets and the reserves flooding into the system and the credits, everything ballooning and wafting upward nicely and harmoniously and uniformly. In other words, the banks realize in order to preserve their soundness and structure, they have to have a compulsory cartelized system, because voluntary cartels don't work in banking much very well either. So in other words, the turn toward compulsory cartels in banking was very similar, of a piece with the turn toward compulsory cartels in the rest of business, industry, railroads, manufacturing, meat packing, insurance, and everything else. And also the Wall Street banks were particularly interested in getting control over the rest of the economy, and there's a second factor here, not just to save themselves, but also to get control over the maverick Western and regional banks that were proliferating. And in particular, the person, the banking firm with the most vision on this subject, the one which always took the lead in cartelization and regulatory commissions and all the rest of it, was the firm of the interest centered around J.P. Morgan and Company. Morgan being the largest investment banker after Jay Cooke. By the way, the justice doesn't always triumph in the world, but in the case of Jay Cooke, justice triumphed. He went bust in the Panic of 1873 after controlling the banking system and inflating and so forth and so on. He finally went under. After that, J.P. Morgan becomes the preeminent investment banker. And first in the railroads and then in manufacturing, Morgan takes the lead in this vision of a new cartelized system, including a new cartelized banking system.